Welcome. The HIPSTERS Diaries, audio podcast. To transform a heart is to save a life. Let me introduce you to your soul. Come reason with me.
Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome back to HIPSTERS Diaries. You're here with Poetic Mi. If this is your first time joining me, welcome. And if you've been here since the beginning, welcome back. We're currently on chapter 5 of an 8-part journey called the Becoming series. 8 Sundays, 8 conversations, 8 opportunities to understand ourselves a little deeper. In chapter 1, we explored identity. In chapter 2, we explored love and attachment. In chapter 3, we explored trauma and survival mode. In chapter 4, we explored family and upbringing. But tonight, we explore purpose. Not the inspirational quote version, not the social media version, the real version. The version that comes with pressure. The version that comes with expectations. The version that asks difficult questions. Who am I supposed to become? What am I here to do? What happens when purpose feels heavier than it feels exciting? Tonight, let's reason. I think many people spend their lives searching for purpose, looking for signs, looking for answers, looking for certainty, wondering if they're on the right path, wondering if they're enough, wondering if they're falling behind. But I don't think purpose is always the thing that we're searching for. Sometimes purpose is the thing that we're avoiding because purpose can be intimidating. Purpose asks something from you. Purpose requires growth. Purpose requires faith. Purpose requires responsibility. And sometimes we know exactly what we're capable of becoming. We're just afraid to become it. And if I'm being honest, I think that's where my story begins. For as long as I can remember, I felt different. And for a long time, that hurt. Because when you feel different, you spend a lot of time wondering where you belong. A lot of time wondering why you see the world differently. Time wondering why certain things affect you so deeply, why certain conversations stay with you, why certain experiences change you, why your spirit keeps pulling you in directions other people don't understand. Looking back now, I don't think purpose was ever missing. I think I was just too scared to understand it. I was fighting for space, fighting for identity, fighting to understand who I was. And once that battle started settling, purpose was waiting for me. Not because I had just arrived, because it had always been there, patiently waiting. And that's something I wish more people understood. Sometimes purpose isn't hidden. Sometimes it's buried underneath fear, buried underneath expectations, buried underneath the versions of ourselves we created to survive. And healing gives us courage to uncover it. Before I understood anxiety, I thought I was stuck. That's the best way I can explain it. I felt trapped inside of whatever I was experiencing, like tomorrow wasn't coming, like things would never change, like whatever I felt in that moment would become my forever. And if you've ever struggled with anxiety, you probably understand exactly what I'm talking about. Psychologists often explain anxiety as an overstimulation of danger and an underestimation of our ability to cope. But in everyday language, anxiety convinces us that this moment is permanent, that this feeling is permanent, that this setback is permanent, that uncertainty is permanent. And one of the greatest lies anxiety ever told me was that I was stuck. Because the truth is, I was never stuck. I was becoming. I just didn't have the language for it yet. The interesting thing about pressure is that it rarely sounds like pressure. Sometimes it sounds like responsibility. It sounds like success. It sounds like making your family proud. Sometimes it sounds like financial stability. Sometimes it sounds like being the strong one, the reliable one, the role model, the person everybody calls first. And while there isn't anything wrong with those things, they can become very heavy when your worth becomes attached to them. Because eventually you stop asking yourself what brings you peace. You start asking yourself what earns approval. And without realizing it, purpose slowly becomes pressure. For a long time, I believed my worth was connected to what I could accomplish. Not intentionally, but looking back now, I can see it. The degrees, the military, the career, recognition, the ability to help people, the ability to be useful, the ability to be needed. Every accomplishment felt like proof. Proof that I mattered. Proof that I was capable. Proof that I was enough. And while achievements can be beautiful, they become dangerous when they become identity. Because accomplishments can be taken away. Titles can change, careers can change, recognition can disappear. But if your value is attached to those things, what happens when they're gone? That's the question I eventually had to ask myself. One thing I've learned is that purpose and performance are not the same thing. Performance is external. Purpose is internal. Performance asks, what do people think of me? Purpose asks, am I aligned with what God placed on my heart? Performance wants an applause. Purpose wants obedience. Performance wants recognition. Purpose wants impact. And if I'm being honest, there were seasons where I was performing success, especially during my time in the military. From the outside, everything looked fine. I was accomplishing things, I was moving forward, I was doing what I was supposed to do. But fulfillment and success are not always the same thing. Because you can look so successful and still feel disconnected from yourself. You can collect accomplishments and still feel like something is missing. That's exactly where I found myself. Not failing, not lost, just misaligned. One of the biggest shifts and biggest blessings in my life happened when Rastafari found me. Not because it made me perfect, because as Rastas we believe we're imperfect. Not because I suddenly had all of the answers. Not because it changed the questions I was asking. Before that season, I spent a lot of time asking, what do I need to achieve? What do I need to prove? What do I need to become? But slowly, those questions changed. I began asking, who did Jah create me to be? What am I here to contribute? How can I be of service? As a Rasta woman, I learned that purpose is bigger than personal success. It's bigger than titles. It's bigger than money. It's bigger than status. Purpose is stewardship. Purpose is service. Purpose is understanding that the gifts that Jah give you were never meant to be kept to yourself. And honestly, that understanding freed me because I stopped measuring my life accomplishments alone and I started measuring it by alignment, by peace, by impact, by whether I was walking in the direction Jah was calling me to walk. I think one of the pressures I carried for a long time was the pressure of being the one who makes it, the one who succeeds, the one who figures it out, the one people can call on, the one who has the answers, the one who carries everyone else. And while that pressure can motivate you, it can also exhaust you. Eventually, you'll realize something. You were never meant to carry the entire world. You were never meant to save everyone. You were never meant to prove your worth through constant achievement. You were simply meant to be faithful to what was assigned to you. And sometimes, the greatest act of faith isn't doing more. It's trusting that Jah can do more with your obedience than you can ever do with your striving. The funny thing about purpose is that when you're living it, it rarely feels random. But when you look back, the pieces start connecting. The pain, the healing, the questions, the experiences, the lessons, all of it begins to make sense. That's how I feel about HIPSTERS Diaries. It wasn't random. Not the nonprofit, not the podcast, not the book, not the work in mental health, not the work with youth, not the desire to serve. None of it was random. For years, I thought I was collecting experiences, but really, Jah was preparing me for my season, preparing me for conversations like these, preparing me to sit with people, preparing me to understand people, preparing me to help people understand themselves. And when the vision finally arrived, it didn't feel foreign. It felt familiar, like something my spirit had always known, even before my mind understood it. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is the difference between self-esteem and self-worth. Psychologists often describe self-esteem as how we evaluate ourselves, how competent we feel, how successful we feel, how accomplished we feel. And while there's nothing wrong with self-esteem, it can be fragile because achievements change, titles change, jobs change, recognition change, but self-worth is different. Self-worth says, I have the value because I exist, not because I achieved something, not because I helped somebody, not because I was productive, not because I succeeded, because I exist. And honestly, that lesson changed my life because for years I measured myself by accomplishments. Today, I'm learning to measure myself by something deeper: alignment, character, purpose, and peace. For a long time, I thought my purpose was to be the best, to be the person everybody calls first, to be the reliable one, to be the successful one, to be the one with the answers, the one who could carry everything. And if I'm honest, that's exhausting because there will always be somebody smarter. There will always be someone faster. There will always be someone more accomplished, more experienced. And if your purpose is built on being the best, you'll spend your whole life chasing something you can never fully catch. But today, I understand purpose differently. Today, I believe my purpose is to transform heart and save lives. Not through perfection, not through performance, not through being the best, but through service, through compassion, through awareness, through healing, through being willing to bridge the gap between what people are experiencing spiritually and what they're experiencing physically. Because so many people are suffering in ways that they don't understand. And sometimes all they need is language. Sometimes all they need is hope. Sometimes they need someone to remind them that they aren't alone. And if Jah can use my voice to do that, then I'm walking in purpose. As a Rasta woman, I've come to understand that purpose is not ownership, it's stewardship. The gifts aren't mine. The calling isn't mine. The wisdom isn't mine. Everything belongs to Jah. I'm simply responsible for what I do with it. And honestly, that takes a lot of pressure away because I no longer feel responsible for controlling outcomes, only for being obedient, only for showing up, only for doing the work placed in front of me. The rest, that belongs to Jah. If I had to summarize this chapter in one sentence, it would be this: purpose was never the problem. Fear was. The fear of not being enough. The fear of getting it wrong. The fear of disappointing people. The fear of stepping into something bigger than myself. But healing taught me something. Purpose doesn't require perfection. It requires courage, the courage to trust Jah, the courage to trust yourself, and the courage to keep walking even when you can't see the entire path. To the younger me, the girl who thought she had to prove herself, the girl who thought success would finally make her feel enough, the girl who carried experiences that were never hers to carry, I want you to know something. You were never meant to earn your worth. You already had it. You were never meant to prove your value. You already had it. You were never meant to become someone else. You were meant to become yourself. Trust the process. Trust the calling. Trust Jah. The path won't always make sense, but one day you'll look back and realize none of it was random. Every lesson, every heartbreak, every detour, every season was preparing you for the life that you're living now. Maybe purpose isn't something we find. Maybe purpose is something we uncover. Something that's always there. Something that's waiting beneath the fear, waiting beneath expectations, waiting beneath pressure. And maybe becoming isn't about creating a new version of yourself. Maybe it's about finally having the courage to become who you've always been. Jah Rastafari family, thank you for reasoning with me. Thank you for growing with me. Thank you for choosing awareness over autopilot. This is HIPSTERS Diaries, where truth finds a soft place to land. Jah guide, Jah bless, Jah Rastafari.
Thank you for reasoning with me. Remember, to transform a heart is to save a life. Until next time, continue the journey inward. Love, peace, unity, and blessings. Jah Rastafari.